We're here with John Bartholomew, and we're going to be talking about some issues concerning caregivers, and I hope to pick John's brain for his ideas on the future of respite. Policy issues in aging and legal policy issues in aging is a course that really gets the experts who've been there and done that, come up with ideas to solve problems. And I've known John Bartholomew for several years. We've spoken together, and I asked him to get his best thinking cap on to look ahead as to what are the real challenges. He's a legislative expert on issues involving aging, among other things. I'm going to be first asking you, John, about how you got into the field of advocacy to help other people.
Well, I'm going to blame my mother.
Okay.
Go back to her. When I was growing up, she was the president of the local League of Women Voters. And so I grew up in this environment where we were encouraged to be involved in the community. And I actually remember the first campaign I got involved with was the Army Corps of Engineers was going to come into our town. This is eastern Pennsylvania, rural rolling hills, farmlands, beautiful old farmlands.
How old were you?
I was 8.
Okay.
And they were going to build a dam and destroy many of these beautiful farmlands and some of these old homes that dated back into the early 1800s. And so a small group of people, including my parents, got together and decided we're going to fight this. And so the first thing is, we all got together, went door to door with a petition.
You went with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing door knocking, asking people for petition signatures to fight this dam being built. And we did manage to get it on the ballot. And then we did all the campaign. I was out there putting hangers on the doors.
This was a planned out.
Oh, this was your classic campaign.
In your living room.
Yeah. Well, our living room, like 20 different people were involved in this, and and so sometimes our place, sometimes another place, and putting yard signs up. Of course, I thought it was hysterical because the campaign, the dam was called the Trexler Dam, and our slogan was Trexler Dam, damn stupid. and as an 8-year-old kid, I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Okay.
And the thing is, we won, and they didn't build the dam. And when you
and it still isn't. It isn't there today.
Right, exactly. And so when I learned that this small group of 20 people could stand up to the federal government and make a difference, I was kind of hooked on making a difference. And over the years, I just kind of became aware of my privilege, my straight white male privilege, and got engaged in looking around to say, where are people disempowered, and how can I help them become empowered? And so over the years, I've worked on a variety of equal rights campaigns for different populations. I've worked on campaign finance reform because the average citizen does not have the same voice as the big donors. And it really came to light when I started working for the Alzheimer's Association, where I met you, that I was working with some of the most vulnerable people there are. People with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, they and their families feel so disempowered.
And they're overwhelmed in the moment.
Yes.
So how could they possibly look at changing a policy that would benefit them?
Exactly.
Now, there's a lot of resources that are available that are immediate resources, and what we're going to be talking about are policy changes that might take time, but are being framed right now. But let me stick on you for just a little bit. Before you were at the Alzheimer's Association, you had a role in the legislative advocacy.
Yeah, before the Alzheimer's Association, I worked for OSPRG, and I did a lot of lobbying.
Now explain what OSPRG is.
OSPRG, Oregon State Public Interest Research Group. They're a kind of grassroots group. You might have seen them come to your door or give you a phone call at some point asking for membership. But they work on a lot of issues ranging from healthcare reform. The key things I was working on were consumer protection. So I was working very hard to change the foreclosure laws during the height of the foreclosure crisis.
So giving a voice to those who really didn't have any voice.
Yeah, people who lost all their money, people who were frustrated, they were going up against the big banks. And just banging their heads against the wall. And so we gave them a voice, we gave them an opportunity to help pass new laws in Salem that are statewide laws that eventually led to now there's a program that allows for mediation when there's a foreclosure. And it was a lot of struggle. It was a little bit by bit over
But
the years.
as you learned that way to help others who need help through the advocacy, whether it's legislative advocacy or public awareness, that led you to the aging, not industry, but the field of
Yes.
aging. And the Alzheimer's Association, I remember when I first met you, you had ideas that were coming in from totally outside the field of aging.
Right.
But what you were doing was trying to find new pathways. So what did you do for them? What was your role?
Well, one of the things that I would say that encompasses all of this is that when you help somebody find their voice, it doesn't just make them feel good in the moment, but it's actually a long-term empowerment. That there's studies that show health benefits from volunteering in advocacy.
Now,
And so
the-
that's
just saying, you are right on track because the group that's watching this has likely taken or will take the Aging Mind course. In that course, we talk about the Baltimore Aging Study, which is
Right.
the experience core that AARP is working with, and the new study out of Canada, Bravo study, the value of volunteering
Yep.
and the value of giving back is brain healthy for both sides of the equation,
Right.
the one providing the service and the one that is receiving it. You in your role as an advocate are looking long range to help an awful lot of people with some of your ideas.
Yes.
So your brain will be so darn healthy that you should pay money to be able to do this. But
I'm lucky that I get to be paid to do this,
well,
frankly.
and I know some of the things you've done have really changed the landscape ever so slightly, but meaningfully.
Yeah.
And so as you then transition from the Alzheimer's Association, putting programs together and lobbying, you then, in 2014, were hired by AARP Oregon. And what role do you play there?
At AARP, I'm the government relations director. So while all of us do some advocacy, I'm really the primary person in Salem during the legislative session. So I'm really the key lobbyist for the organization. We all do some of it, but that means that I'm in Salem every day during the months of the session. I'm the one trying to get in to talk to legislators on behalf of our membership. I'm also the one that goes to so many work group and task force meetings about issues ranging from advanced directives to transparency of healthcare costs.
So just about everything from 50 plus.
Yeah.
By being down there 5, 6, 7 days a week with whatever's going on, you not only are looking to advocate for future policies and programs, but you're putting out fires with things that come in. Now that the legislature is over and you've had just to take a deep breath for a week or so and say, okay, what are the needs out there? You told me about the need for caregiver issues to be discussed right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back with what do you see in the caregiver area that is maybe something that we can then imagine could be shaped?